If ever there's been a recent film that's had quite the journey to the screen, Coyote vs. ACME is probably the most fascinating. With James Gunn involved as a producer, recognizable actors like Will Forte and John Cena in the principal roles, and its focus on the Looney Tunes, this was revving up to be a major release for Warner Brothers. After completion, someone looked at it and decided it would be better as a tax write-off and locked away in the studio water tower, never to be released. Understandably, there was a lot of outrage over this, not just from Looney Tunes fans, but many in Hollywood. Finally, Ketchup Entertainment stepped up to the rescue to help get the movie released. So after the long wait, what did I think of Coyote vs. ACME? Well, for starters, I'm stunned someone watched this movie and thought I'd be better off sitting in a vault. This is a very, very funny movie that completely understands the appeal of the Looney Tunes and what makes them such delightful characters. Director Dave Green, along with credited screenwriter Sammy Burtz, seem to have come into this project with a genuine love for these animated superstars, especially Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. Right from the start, the filmmakers do such a good job of capturing the style of comedy devised by Chuck Jones and Michael Matisse in the classic cartoons, with some hilarious slapstick involving Wile E trying to catch that Roadrunner. And they keep that level of animated lunacy through most of the film, cleverly applying the cartoon physics to so many scenarios. There are a lot of funny moments centered on how the live-action people react to the dynamite and other things that Wile E and the rest of the Looney Tunes seemingly pull out of thin air. What's also neat is how the film taps into Warner Brothers animation history, and they don't merely rely on including references and recognizable characters. There are actually jokes with punchlines, with the one that made me laugh the hardest involving a character Warner Brothers has tried to shy away from the past few years. Meanwhile, Wile E and his lawyer, Kevin Avery, make a great pair, with Will Forte finding the perfect reactions to Wile E's antics, and it develops into a solid arc for the two of them. The Roadrunner is also great whenever he appears, and the film even provides some insight to why there's been this chase for so long. I also love the way the film utilizes the other cartoon characters like Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny. Lately, there's been a push to return Daffy to the original Tex Avery Bob Clampett version of the character, as seen in the recent Looney Tunes cartoons and the animated film The Day the Earth Blew Up. I'm a big fan of the jealous Daffy conceived by Chuck Jones, but also really like that the wackier version has been getting some attention lately. And this movie even provides a story reason for it. Most of the Looney Tunes featured here are voiced by Eric Bauza, who's proven to be such a chameleon. He has done an incredible job of inhabiting these characters and following the footsteps of Mel Blanc, Joe Lasky, Jeff Bergman, and the other talented voice actors who've taken on these roles. Meanwhile, Coyote vs. ACME is a compelling courtroom comedy as the film cleverly inserts the Looney Tunes into this trial. There are a lot of great jokes as Kevin faces off against the ACME lawyers led by John Cena, who also completely understands the material. Fittingly for a movie almost not released due to corporate decisions, there's a heavy theme against corporate corruption and what can happen if one company gains too much power. The film does a good job of showing the characters, finding out more about ACME, and it makes for a solid mystery in its own right. Foghorn Leghorn is the CEO of ACME, and it's definitely the character that is most hateable, and he becomes a great villain. The animation on the Looney Tunes is very strong, even if it takes a little while to get used to their self-shaded appearance. However, the animators expertly capture their movements, which allows the slapstick to shine. A few notable characters were drawn by Ken Duncan's studio, though, and they're wonderful to see. I laughed quite often during Coyote vs. ACME, but what I did not expect was the genuine heart. This is largely through Wile E's character and how Kevin gets to know him. The film does make you think about this Coyote who's just trying to catch his prey for many years, but keeps getting malfunctioning products. He is, in many ways, an eternal optimist, and Coyote vs. ACME does a good job of exploring that. Where they ultimately go with this is very sweet, and a reminder of why the Looney Tunes continue to endear so many years after they were first drawn. The movie is such a tribute to what makes the work of artists like Tex Avery, Bob Clampett, Chuck Jones, Friz Freleng, Robert McKinson, and the other folks at Termite Terrace so special, and why we want to watch these characters attempt to pulverize each other to hilarious results. Shame on whoever decided better use of this movie would be gathering dust somewhere rather than letting the world see it. It was great that so many rallied behind Coyote vs. ACME and called for its release. They even added a note in the end credits thanking everyone who showed their support, which was very sweet. This is the right dosage of wacky humor and clever comedy that any Looney Tunes project should aspire to, and is absolutely worthy of that cartoon legacy.